Hi, Caroline Hart, Kent Life Coach here. I just thought I'd share a bit more of my story about why I became a life coach. So, years ago, I mentioned before I wasn't very confident, but I was also a non-achiever at school. So I suspect I'm dyslexic. I've never formally been tested, but whenever I've researched about it, I tick a lot of the boxes. So school for me was very, very challenging, and I left with just one GCSE in drama. And I saw myself as a non-achiever. I believed I couldn't do things. I believed lots of which is one of the things I work with clients about, is lots of negative ideas about myself and who I am. The script, the stories we tell ourselves about who we are really, really powerful and impact then how we perform in the world, what we do. And I was definitely stuck in this idea that I told myself I couldn't, I told myself I wasn't capable, and many other not very helpful things. So anyway, this was me, and it was only through leaving school that a lot of my behaviors, again, because I was bored at school, because it wasn't mentally stimulating for me, because the way it was structured didn't suit my brain, didn't suit how I functioned. I used to give my energy to being disruptive. And when I left school, I got on, was back then, this shows my age, a YT scheme. And I got to work in a retail store. I got to work in Army and Navy in Maidstone, actually, many, many moons ago. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it was a weird process for me, because what happened was suddenly the behavior I used to be scolded for, like talking to people, chatting, being lively, being energetic, all of these things, I was praised for. I was praised for talking to the customers. I was praised for putting the effort in. And that became very confusing for me, but also really, really empowering. And it gave me that suddenly, like, maybe, just maybe, these other bits of information coming, maybe I'm not as incapable as I thought I was. Maybe, just maybe, I can do things. Maybe. And this was the start of me starting to question those scripts that I'd written for myself, those very hardwired ideas that I had about who I was and what I was capable of. My dog's just walked in the room. So yeah, it started to change my world. And then I did NVQs and became an assessor. And bit by bit, because of that vocational learning piece, I suddenly realized that I was capable of far more than I thought. And the key difference here is when you believe you can, you can. And then I started reading the self-help books and the coaching books and started goal setting. And I'd set a goal, and then I'd break it down into, like, what's half that goal, what's half that, what's half that, what's half that. And I really started to understand about goal setting and how empowering it can be, and how if you break things down into small enough bits, you can do it. And I started to challenge myself in all sorts of ways. I started to run, so I started off getting fit and going to the gym. And then I'd be like, well, if I'm going to warm up at the gym, maybe I could walk to the gym as my warm up. Maybe I could run to the gym. And this bit by bit process continued until I became a marathon runner, which I was super proud of. So it was really, that was one of my early days experience of suddenly thinking, well, if you believe you can, and break it down into small bits. So with the running, I'd run a bit and I think, well, next time about, maybe I'll just add a tiny bit onto that run, and a tiny bit onto that run, and a tiny bit, and maybe I'll just run a little bit faster than I did last time. And it was that really breaking things down into small bits that change things. And this is the sort of work I do with clients. So one, helping them, helping, as I did myself, start to believe that maybe the stories you told yourself about yourself might not be true. And maybe if you think you can, you can. Maybe if you can just choose to think differently and believe a bit in yourself, you might be surprised by the results you get. That combined with setting goals, but setting goals so that you break them down into such small little steps that is so doable that nothing can stop you. So just a little bit more of my personal story and what brought me to where I am today. Thank you for listening.